I believe we can start now as we have all our speakers connected and most of the attendees are also connected. Okay, so it has been almost a month and for some over a month that all of us everywhere have been under some form of lockdown. It has not been easy, but resilience is the key to navigate through these difficult times. And despite the challenges, we need to keep reminding ourselves that such once in a lifetime scenarios bring once in a lifetime opportunities as well that we must work hard to capture. So while all of us have been impacted in some way or other way, delivery and ride-hailing services are some of the most heavily impacted ones, which is why today we decided to gather and learn from them how we are coping and what is there for rest of us to learn. With that, I would like to hand over to Abdul Basit to share the brief about the agenda and kick off our second virtual conference. Thank you.
All,
Hand over to you, Basit.
all right, you guys can hear me well. Thank you, everyone who has joined. Thank you to all the panelists. Thank you very much. It was a bit of a short notice. Thank you. I thank you all for you to join. All right, guys. So it's the agenda is. I will explain the agenda. How we will progress is simple. I will explain the agenda just after this. We'll give a quick introduction to all the panelists all the panelists. Then followed by that, we will have a Q&A. And so basically just before the Q&A, every panelist will have 10 to 12 minutes to talk about the questions or the agenda points that we have given to you. I will just repeat them as well for now, and in the end we have the quick Q&A that will be raised by the questions raised by our participants, and then an ending note by Khizr. So with us, so the agenda is simple. The objective is how delivery and ride-hailing services providers collaborate with banks, digital banks, fintechs, and government to tackle the challenges that are present during the COVID-19 pandemic. The agenda items are simple. The current challenges that are being faced by both delivery and ride-hailing companies. The support that digital fintechs, banks can provide to these ride-hailing businesses during this situation and lockdown. What role can the delivery and ride-hailing service providers play to ensure smooth and safe distribution of essential commodities and maybe on the Russian drive supplies? How can the government play a supporting role for this industry in the midst of the pandemic? And what are the key takeaways in the current situation, and what can be done for future? So how all these players which I talked about can integrate, collaborate in a way that we are prepared better for future if something happens, God forbid, again. And do you guys think it will, especially for Pakistan, trigger a more digital economy where we will go away from cash, we'll go away from cash on deliveries, etc.? So these are the points, and we will we'll start with Munib, followed by Zishan. So Munib is the founder and the CEO of Baikia. Zishan Hasibek is the GM of Kareem Pakistan. Sayed Sair Ali, co-founder and CEO of Eat Mubarak. Then followed by Muntaka Piracha, commercial director of Food Panda, and lastly by Mohsin Qureshi, the CEO of Cheetah. Just a quick intro for Munib. Munib Meyer is the founder of Baikia, the largest network of motorbikes and of motorbike serving on-demand transport, logistics, and payment service in Pakistan. Munib graduated from the University of Virginia to work in investment banking at Bear Stearns in New York City right after the college. He has led 600-person back office for SNL in Financials in Islamabad, a business acquired by Standard & Poor's. Prior to Baikia, Munib was co-founder and CEO at Daraz, a Pakistan leading e-commerce platform that was recently acquired by Alibaba. So over to you, Munib. Thank you.
Jay, so thanks for the introduction. It's very kind of you, and hello to all the panelists. I think this is a very tough time, right? It's a very tough time I'll first talk about ride hailing or ride sharing. because that is what's most impacted. So let me just frame to you basically where things stand today. So the bike taxi or double savari wala jo business hai on the motorbike, that continues to be suspended in Karachi, Pindi, Islamabad, and Lahore. On the ride sharing side, Pindi, Islamabad, and Lahore have been lax. The demonstrations have been lax and essentially allowed car sharing, while Karachi has continued to suspend that as well. And so as we stand right now, from Bikea's perspective, it's a really bad place to be in, because essentially most of our business is in Karachi, right? And the ban or suspension on motorbike double savari or motorbike taxi, given that it's the largest part of our business, that has severely impacted our revenue, right? Um, I do think basically, this is ultimately when the lockdown sort of comes to an end. We'll be, in my opinion, in a better position um, as people's inclinations towards huddled or congregated commute, उस पे apprehensions लोगों की बढ़ती हैं. So for example, लोगों का बसों में भरना, ढोना, झमघट्टे में basically move करना, I think basically खासकर मर्द हजरात जो हैं उससे कतराएंगे. And again, motorbike taxi business is primarily, used by males. I also think that in the summer, as air-conditioned cars roam around, I think people's propensity, particularly men who have been on the fringe of utilizing discounted promos to essentially, avail cheaper modes of transport, I think their propensity to basically shuttle around in cars will diminish. So I think post the lockdown, I think, we'll be perhaps in a better position. Also because अगर आप सोचो from a motorbike perspective, bike वाले को पहले से basically gloves पहनना, या शायद पहले leather के gloves पहनता था, अभी basically plastic के gloves पहन, या basically mask पहनना, जो पहले pollution की वजह से पहनता था, basically pandemic की वजह से पहन रहा है, या बेसिक हेलमेट के आगे वाइजर होना, जो कि फर्दर बेसिकली एक शील्ड है जो प्रोटेक्ट करिए, जो आके आज अस्पतालों में डॉक्टर पहन रहे हैं. ये कोई दे आर नायाब चीजें, राइट? सो बेसिकली आई थिंक फ्रॉम अ बिहेवियर पर्सपेक्टिव, from the motorbike taxi perspective, I don't think there are going to be a lot of behavior changes for these fleet drivers. But I do feel that we are going to be very hurt over the next 30, 45 days. As we also stem into Ramzan, it's going to be a really, really bad time for us, from a revenue perspective, of course, right? And then when I shift towards deliveries, I have to cite that basically most people, particularly who are watching us on Facebook, presume that Bikeia is very, very big in deliveries, because that's the demographic that they belong to. They belong to a demographic that has the disposable income to shell out 100 rupees for convenience, right? And so that's actually a smaller part of our business, right? And most of the people who used to use us were people in the wholesale market. So when the wholesale markets clamped down, that business completely shrank for us. Like the markets band hai, to basically Bikeia ki basically aapas mein, one-to-one deliveries kaise. There is a very small portion of our business which is concierge services. कि जी आपके पास इतनी disposable income है कि जी आप 100 रुपए गिरा सकते हो, drop कर सकते हो for someone to go fetch you something or buy you something, whether it's from like a street food vendor or a restaurant or from like the convenience store. So, I do believe that post lockdown and even during the lockdown, that business is going to grow. As people start to value their health more than that 100 rupees, because for a lot of people in the middle class, particularly, that 100 rupees was a hurdle. So I think basically they'll start thinking of that 70, 100 rupees basically as less of a hurdle. But but again, basic, and I think that will prevail. I think that mindset of trying to be cautious will prevail. But I really think basically, short term, this is really bad news for all basically, transport, or for that matter, people-based logistics businesses in Pakistan, especially because even though आप लोग सुनते हैं कि जी Amazon में इतनी डिलीवरियां बढ़ गई हैं, उनसे हैंडल नहीं हो रही, भाई दराज की भी मार्जिनली डिलीवरियां ग्रो होंगी, इतनी कोई इंक्रीज नहीं हुई। क्यों? क्योंकि लोगों का बिहेवियर ही नहीं था बेसिकली पहले से, राइट। और फूड डिलीवरी दुनिया में जो बेसिकली अभी तक काफी शहरों में कायम है, इसलिए क्योंकि लोग घर पे पकाते ही नहीं थे। उनके पास बेसिकली घर में कोई बीवी या माँ नहीं होती थी पकाने के लिए, and hence basically they always would order in, and so you can't stop people from eating, right? So that's why they continue to turn that on. In Pakistan, it's still basically predominantly like an upper middle class luxury, right? And I do feel that there is going to be a slight uptick perhaps on food delivery, but I for us basically we're betting more on logistics and distribution as the opportunity, not necessarily food delivery per se.
Thank you, Munib. We'll come back to you. We see that we have a lot of people join in. Questions are coming in. I'll move to Zishan now. So just a quick intro for Zishan. Zishan is the Pakistan-born and bred success story in the media, telecom, and tech industry. His educational background includes MBA from LAMS, science, and multiple Lahore University of Management Sciences, and multiple certifications from Harvard and school business schools. And as an ex-management consultant for Deloitte, Zishan has over 9 years of experience in strategy, transformation, operations, and have worked over 20 countries across MENA, Europe, and South Asia. Zishan joined Kareem in 2017, and currently Zishan is serving as GM Kareem Pakistan. So over to you, Zishan. And again, as per the points in the agenda, I would like you to go ahead. Thank you.
Yes. So thank you very much, Basit, and good to be here. So I think as Munib also mentioned, so of course this event is one of a kind event. This is the only event is a COVID situation year where demand as well as supply both have been impacted. इससे पहले कभी यूजुअली हमने ऐसी सिचुएशंस नहीं देखी जहाँ पे यू फेसिंग सप्लाई एज वेल एज डिमांड चैलेंजेस और initially there was a view that this might be a V-shaped crisis, but to be honest it looks like probably U-shaped crisis in the best case, or it can turn into a L-shaped crisis as well. Now what has happened is, if you look at the demand side, consumer behaviors have absolutely changed. There's a lot of shift from offline to online. So internet usage जो है almost 50% से ऊपर बढ़ गई in some countries. Digital payment की तरफ लोग जाना शुरू हो गए हैं, and then there are some sectors which are severely impacted, and unfortunately transportation is one of those sectors, and of course all the players who are here basically fall into that category, which also means that Kareem of course has been impacted severely as well. Now हमारा भी Kareem was always known for the ride hailing business. So majority of our revenue was coming from the ride hailing, and ride hailing में our revenues have really gone down because of the lockdown situation. जिसकी वजह से demand भी impact हुई है, and as well as supply as well, because there are bans in certain regions when it comes to car ride hailing. So as we stand today, Sindh में on cars it's an absolute ban, so there are no cars on road for Kareem. Lahore में similar situation. If you look at KP and North, of course वो इतना hard ban नहीं है, but then again a lot of because of the behavior, demand भी बहुत decline कर गई है, and then supply is also not coming out because उनको बहुत ज़्यादा challenges हो रहे हैं. So definitely it's a big challenge for us, and ride hailing में at least I don't see for the next 35 to 40 days things coming back to normal. So even if your lockdown situation gets to normal as well, I mean, people will still be apprehensive of, commuting in the cars and everything. And of course, we will ensure all the necessary precautions that are needed. So I think this is where we stand when it comes to the ride hailing business. Delivery with Kareem was never very big, or बहुत ज़्यादा was never known for deliveries as well. But one thing, so for Kareem, generally, if you look at Kareem, there's a big opportunity as well. So I think all of us know that Kareem was pivoting its strategy towards becoming a super app. Now, super app hogi basically is one application where there will be multiple services. Kuch services Kareem owned hongi, for example, ride hailing, food services, deliveries, and then there'll be a lot of third party services as well. Yes, the idea for this crisis has enabled we quickly pivot towards becoming a super app. So we've expedited all our efforts which were ongoing for the super app, and we are planning to go live with the super app much earlier than it was actually planned. So ride hailing, of course, there's a significant impact, and we do foresee it will continue for a couple of months as well. Whereas areas like, of course, delivery, food, grocery ordering, of course, these are very, very small. Abhi base बहुत small for Kareem, but then these are opportunities there. And I think, as Muneeb also rightly mentioned, so Pakistan में the challenges were कभी भी बहुत ज़्यादा dependence नहीं थी deliveries में. अगर dependence थी भी तो usually markets की थी. So by the time markets normalize होंगी, only then we'll start seeing this business growing. And customer side pe there it requires a lot of awareness. So I think isme basically when it comes to government plays a very important role as well. So especially if you look at South, for the longest time, South may, of course, for the right reasons, there were restrictions on deliveries as well. But on the contrary, if you look at China, so the way China was able to manage this COVID situation in a very effective manner was by promoting delivery services, right? Because people don't have to go outside. घर बैठे हमको चीजें आ जाएंगी. So I think from a government point of view, I think if these things can be stressed and की awareness create की जा सके, so this will be really really helpful. So I think just to sum it all, Kareem, of course, delivery, ride hailing has been severely impacted, or we don't foresee it recovering very soon. Whereas when it comes to super app, that's a big opportunity that we're all counting on. Or sari efforts are around super app for Kareem at least.
All right, thank you. Good points. I've taken notes. We'll ask some questions during the Q&A session. I'll move to Sire now. So Sire, is the co-founder and CEO of Eat Mubarak, where he built Pakistan's fastest growing food delivery marketplace, taking from 0 to 100,000 monthly transactions in a short period. Prior to to this, he founded Book.pk, Pakistan's largest venue booking and wedding services platform. He's a graduate from LUMS. Over to you, Sire.
जिस तरह मुनीब ने और ज़ीशान ने बताया कि इंडस्ट्री इज मैसिवली बीइंग अफेक्टेड, सो हमारी थोड़ी सी जर्नी डिफरेंट रही. इन लास्ट 6 months we went through some massive changes, और उसकी वजह से आई थिंक इन हाइंडसाइट उस वक्त तो लग रहा था कि we were going through very tough time, but in hindsight we can say कि जो हमारे साथ हुआ वो अच्छे के लिए हुआ. One of the things that happened was we went out of logistics, so हमारा अपना logistics नहीं होता. So we are partnering with restaurants where they're delivering themselves, which is good कि वो distributed हो गया है, तो हमारे लिए हमारी उसकी cost, maintenance वो सब चीज़ें कम है, और इस तरह के environment में वो हमारे लिए एक strategic advantage बना हुआ है, बल्कि कि जो restaurant अपने तौर पे कर सकते हैं deliver, वो they can be on our platform. The other opportunity that came along that time was we started focusing more on our marketplace and ordering technology. How can we enable more restaurants and build multiple channels for them to receive orders, digital orders, जिसमें online payments की problem उनकी solve हो रही हो. So वहाँ पे हमें एक opportunity नजर आई on which we are working very aggressively right now. That is a lot of stores, grocery stores, supermarkets, pharmacies, locally and internationally want to go online right now. So हम अपनी technology को utilize कर रहे हैं और उनको enable कर रहे हैं. How can we make them go online and receive payments online within a matter of a few days. इस वक्त जाहिर है जिस तरह की सिचुएशन है, कोई लंबी चौड़ी डेवलपमेंट में नहीं जा सकता कि अपनी एप्स बनवाए, अपनी वेबसाइट बनवाए in say spending tens of thousands of dollars and spending 6 to 9 months. So वहाँ पे जो go to market time को कम करना है, so that is what we are focusing on. हमारा जो revenue wise we rely on restaurant subscription revenue, and we are now a zero commission, 0% commission marketplace for the restaurants. So yes, that those revenues are going to be affected, but उसके साथ साथ जो हमें कुछ opportunities ordering side पे नजर आ रही हैं, उसका हमें फायदा हो रहा है और we are covering up. So not a initially a massive impact, yes, but I think the kind of innovation that we are looking at और जो हमें opportunities नजर आ रही हैं, we should be able to recover with that. And I think जैसे जैसे ये fleets जो available हैं, so जहाँ पे restaurants के पास खुद भी delivery नहीं है, we can leverage those fleets क्योंकि इस वक्त दोनों end पे requirement है, demand है rides की. So we are partnering up with Bikeia कि हम जो जिन restaurants के पास अपनी fleet नहीं है, so they can deliver through Bikeia. So I think with that and our burn much lower, more sustainable model that we are at, we are relatively, I think, more comfortable and looking at opportunities comfortably कि कहाँ पे इस वक्त हम we can grow in which direction. In terms of the main topic of the session about the fintech and the role they are playing, so one of our offerings is that we are integrated in top payment apps of Pakistan, including EasyPaisa, JazzCash, HBL, and Alfana. So वहाँ पे we are seeing an uptick in the numbers because they are also promoting. A lot of people now want to consciously pay online as opposed to पहले जो natural choice होती थी, it was to do cash on delivery, but our natural choice will convert Horia to pay online. And I think we have over time have sensed that कि इस तरह एक वक्त आएगा, not obviously in the form of corona, but in the form of digital adoption. तो वहाँ पे हमने we are invested in it, उसमें multiple payment options हमारी app में भी available है और multiple payment apps के अंदर हमारी भी integrations हुई हैं. So that is really picking up at this point in time.
All right, thank you, Sire. Interesting. Good points for me to talk about after we are all done. So let's move to Muntaka. Muntaka Pracha, he's the director, commercial, Food Panda Pakistan, and is a graduate in computer science from Georgia Institute of Technology, and has spent the last 15 years developing, deploying, managing, and selling large-scale digital solutions for giants like IBM and NCR to local technologies. He has a passionate for solving complex problems, from access to banking, healthcare, from bottom of the pyramid to digitizing last mile deliveries. Over to you, Muntaka.
Ji, assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you for the introduction. So we've had a lot of discussion around, the doom and gloom that COVID has brought up. So, and I'm not going to repeat the same thing again. I think Munib and Zishan and Sair have all covered it pretty well. But the interesting part for us as Food Panda, we're a slightly different model from, what Eat Mubarak is, and, very different from the ride hailing or last mile courier services that Kareem and Bikeia respectively provide. Initially, what happened with us was because there was a lot of uncertainty around from the government. No one knew exactly what was going to happen. So there was a lockdown, but there was not really a lockdown. So it was like a bit of a confused state that was happening, which caused a lot of consumer dissatisfaction. So we saw a huge drastic drop in order volumes for us. Sindh was closed anyway, so that's around 40% of our market from an order volume perspective. The rest of Pakistan was up and running, but there were no predictable times of restaurants working. Some would be working, some would be closed. There was a bit of uncertainty around, are you allowed to deliver food or are you not allowed to deliver food? So we did two things. One, we started working with the government to figure out ways where we can get some predictability, especially in terms of which zones are open, and by zones I mean which areas within particular cities are open. So for example, in Lahore, there was a situation initially at the start where DHA was closed. So any rider coming in from outside of DHA was being stopped at the entrance. And any rider that was working within DHA, they were allowed. So, that was a bit of a, lack of uniformity. So we started working with the authorities on that to figure out ways where they wanted to allow, riders and, third-party couriers. So we were championing, as all the other attendees over here as well. We were championing on behalf of all of, for everyone else in the industry, to at least get those notifications out, which actually worked. So in Punjab, KP, and to an extent in Balochistan, it worked out. Sindh was, from the start in lockdown till day before yesterday. So what happened was we saw a very drastic drop in orders, but as soon as the situations became consistent, we've actually seen a huge growth. So now right now, only from a food delivery perspective, we have numbers that are larger than pre-COVID times. So our order volumes have actually increased. We've been growing on record basis. And I'm not just talking about our tier 1 cities, like the Lahore, Faisalabad, Multan. We're talking about, the smaller cities as well. So like Sheikhupura has been, one of our leading growth cities. And they're doing numbers that we never thought that they would do in, this lockdown situation. So we're right now operational in 16 cities, if we take out Sindh. And everywhere we've seen a huge growth, which is quite interesting. Another thing that we did was that, obviously, like everyone here is trying to see a silver lining in all of this. So every crisis, gives you an opportunity to figure out some innovative solutions. We repurposed the business model a little bit, and we introduced Panda Marts. Panda Marts is basically grocery daily essentials, so which include groceries and medicines. So we introduced those within Pakistan, obviously focused first in Punjab, because that was where we were seeing growth as well. So that helped a lot. Thanks to the team, we launched it within 3-4 days. So now we are live with Marts in 15 cities, 16 actually, because Karachi is now open from today, for us at least. So we launched those. That has helped, and the main driver behind that is not to increase order volumes. It's not to increase profitability. There are two things. One, our rider fleet, like by Kia and Food Panda, I think between the two of us, we approximately have like around 50,000 riders on our platforms. So that's a huge daily wager that
Mm.
both these organizations are catering for. So one was that, to ensure how we can get enough orders driven to our riders so that at least they can earn. Before that was happening, we were finding ways to supplement their wages by increasing incentives wherever the riders were working. We introduced some incentives from our investors as well, for these riders, especially for Sindh, when there was a complete lockdown, to facilitate them from a daily wage perspective. And the second driver for Panda Marts was essentially our CSR initiative, which is working with the government to ensure people stay at home. Right now, if you go to the Imtiaz and Carrefours and metros, you see lines of people standing outside. It's getting hot. Rosas are around the corner. So try to avoid that. Inside as well, people are following little bit of social distancing, but it's impossible to manage. If we think that we'll be that disciplined and stand at the checkout counter when the line is like 20 people in front of us, and stand 1 meter apart, I mean, A, there's no space in those stores, and B, it's not going to be possible. So those are the few things that I wanted to just touch upon on how this current situation has impacted Food Panda as a whole.
Right, good insights. Thank you, Muntaka. We move to Mohsin now. So Mohsin, he is, was the former commercial director of Food Panda, actually. He joined Cheetah in November 2019, and since then has grown the business 10 times. We need to hear about that. He has more than 12 years of experience working in business development and sales. Mohsin was the founding members of Eat2A, one of the pioneer food delivery portals in Pakistan. Over to you, Mohsin.
Thank you, Basit, and thank you everyone. So everyone has talked about the challenges pertaining to their business and the overall economy. So it was interesting time for Sheete. We have been trying to pivot our business and we have been trying to come in grocery and pharma from last couple of months. So हम lucky इसलिए थे कि हम लोगों ने tech development already कर ली हुई थी. So the timelines were near to the Q2, but as the this pandemic happened, we were more focused on agility and trying to launch the things as quickly as we can. So grocery हमारी पहले से launch थी. We were trying to launch pharma. So कुछ चीज़ें हमने पहले कर ली थी, लेकिन इसके बाद जैसे मुंतका ने भी बताया कि they launched Panda Mart, having Care for Metro on board. There were a lot of challenging situations with the stores as well. They were unable to accept the orders, and there were a lot of customer dissatisfaction. So इस time में customer dissatisfaction was a key for us. So usko jo hai, to manage that was very important for us. The second thing was our rider safety. So we started off with having temperature check of the riders. We started off insurance for the riders, and we told them that if you're ill, don't go to the work, stay home. So that was the interesting thing from our side. और बहुत से riders हमारे पास ऐसे भी थे जिनको बुखार था, उनको हमने वापस भेजा. ये सारे challenges हैं, और I think moving forward, ये gig economy will end, or people would be more focused on a sustainable income on a monthly basis. जैसे बाइकिया काम कर रहे हैं, हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं, फूड पैंडा काम कर रहे हैं, करीम काम कर रहे हैं. शायद हमें फ्यूचर में ये it would be a big challenge for us sustaining the riders. So previously we used to compete with each other on the payment module. Maybe शायद in the near future that is going to be a challenge for all of us. Then interestingly, the consumer behavior is changing. जैसे मुनीब ने भी कहा कि सारी दुनिया कह रही है कि food delivery जो है वो ज़्यादा हो रही है. Pakistan is a different, not only Pakistan, I think Bangladesh, Philippines, Iran, so countries like countries who are developing, उनमें सब में ये challenge है. Europe obviously Europe has seen a spike in food delivery, but Asia के कुछ countries हैं, India as well. India में भी same situation as Pakistan, and जिस तरह से इतने ज़्यादा layoffs हो रहे हैं different companies में, I see a drop in food delivery in the near future. And it's the time for us to collaborate with each other, whether it be on the government front, whether it be on the payment companies like digital banks. It's time to collaborate, let people know that they should stay at home. Maybe we, Baikia, Food Panda, Kareem can come up with a mutual campaign, how safe we are, what safety measures we are taking to promote the delivery business in Pakistan, because it was not developed as yet. So जो competition है, it can be run in maybe एक साल के बाद भी competition बड़ा अच्छा हो सकता है, but this time around it's the time of collaboration, and especially on the government side. I think the government should come and play a vital role here with having a special interest rate for the e-commerce companies, the ride-hailing companies. They should come and have some reduced tax plan for us. They should come and say, just say a government has announced a tiger force. I think we can play a very big role here. So technology Baikia ke paas bhi hai, Food Panda ke paas bhi hai, Kareem ke paas bhi hai. And on a mass level, where it is required to deliver ration, I think we can play a big role. We have a big fleet with all the tech, and I think on the government side, they should come and talk to all of us, and we can propose a solution and technology to them to make sure कि घरों पे लोगों को राशन पहुंचे, instead of people waiting in the lines. वहाँ पे 200 लोग हैं, and they can be cause of coronavirus itself. और वहाँ से कितना spread होता है, I don't know. So these are a couple of points from my side, and last but not least, like this is a crucial time, and I think on the funding side for the startups, it would be a challenge in near future. So to manage the customer expectation, to manage the investor expectations, and to have a longer runway, it is needed for the time, and discount driven market might be ending, and people should be more focused and would be more focused on services and their safety.
All right, quite interesting. So thank you all. I see a lot of questions. I see some people want to join in as well. But I will maybe want to start from a question from my side, and I've been itching to ask this question, and it's for all. Do you guys see and aptly, because हम digital payments की बात कर रहे हैं, do you guys see an increase of online payments or digital payments per se for your services? Maybe we can start from Zishan, and we'll take over. You really see an increase?
अच्छा यार, आई थिंक बासित इस पे सबसे पहले वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड के हाउ डिजिटल पेमेंट्स वर्क इन पाकिस्तान. और पहली चीज तो ये है कि पाकिस्तान इज अ कैश बेस्ड इकोनॉमी, एवरीबडी नोज इट. हमारे 60 ट्रिलियन रुपीज से ज्यादा कैश सर्कुलेशन में पैसे हैं, और उसका ऑलमोस्ट 25 से 30% जो है सिर्फ बैंक में बैठा है. सो इट्स प्राइमरीली कैश बेस्ड इकोनॉमी. सेकंड थिंग इज व्हेन इट कम्स टू कनेक्टिविटी, सिर्फ पाकिस्तान की 35 टू प्रॉब्ली 40% लोग कनेक्टेड है इंटरनेट से. ये सब एक्चुअली कनेक्टेड है, सो इंटरनेट या किसी और मीडियम से भी. So when it comes to digital payment, there are some key challenges that needs to be addressed. सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज ये है कि एक तो डिजिटल पेमेंट्स के जो ऑप सॉल्यूशंस है ना, वो पिछले 13-14 साल से एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, ठीक है, बट देयर आर वेरी फ्यू यूज केसेस. सो अभी किस लिए यूज हो रहा है? बेसिकली एक डिजिटल वॉलेट, कैश इन कैश आउट, ज्यादा से ज्यादा एयर टाइम परचेज या थोड़ी बहुत बिल पेमेंट्स के लिए. बिल पेमेंट्स भी बाय द वे 40% मे बी इस पे होते हैं डिजिटल चैनल्स में, एंड रेस्ट 60% फिजिकली ब्रांच भी होते हैं. सेकेंडली, यूजर्स के लिए, जो कस्टमर्स हैं, उनके लिए देयर बेयरली एनी इंसेंटिव्स कि यार वो क्यों डिजिटली पे करें, ठीक है. टैक्स नेट पे आ जाते हैं, ट्रांजैक्शन चार्जेस हैं, ऑल ऑफ दिस, फिर कैश इज फ्री, ठीक है. थर्डली, अगर आप मर्चेंट साइड पे देखें, सो मर्चेंट ऑन बोर्डिंग तो ऑल दो बड़ी इजी बन गई. अब वो लेवल 0 जो एक्सेस अकाउंट का दे दिया हुआ, उससे दे जस्ट हैव टू सेंड वन मैसेज एंड दे आर ऑन बोर्डेड. बट देन अगेन दे डोंट हैव एनी इंसेंटिव. उनको आप चार्ज कर रहे होते हैं ट्रांजेक्शन के ऊपर, जो भी मर्चेंट फी वगैरह होगी उसके ऊपर चार्ज कर रही होती है. सो आई थिंक प्राइमरीली ये 3-4 चैलेंजेस हैं. अब इसमें इन टर्म्स ऑफ वे फॉरवर्ड, सो द रीजन आई डोंट सी कि बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ेगी एकदम से. मे बी शॉर्ट टर्म में थोड़ी, बिकॉज अभी मजबूरी है, कैश ट्रांजेक्शन नहीं हो सकती, ब्रांचेस बंद हैं. सो शॉर्ट टर्म में ऑफ कोर्स आई सी कि देयर विल बी सम अपटेक, बट पीपल विल कम बैक टू द हैबिट वंस थिंग्स आर नॉर्मल, बिकॉज हमारी जो बेसिक्स है ना, दैट नीड्स टू बी फिक्स. सो जो इकोसिस्टम है डिजिटल पेमेंट का, दैट नीड्स टू बी फिक्स. नाउ माय basically suggestion is that there are 3-4 things that needs to be done if we want to really scale digital payments. पहली चीज तो ये है कि नंबर 1, increase the use cases. अभी मैंने जैसा बताया, हमारे यहाँ पे यूज केस है कैश वॉलेट पे रखवाना है या कैश विड्रॉ करवाना है, दैट्स द मेन यूज केस. हाउएवर सबसे बड़ी जो चीज है ना, वो ये है कि डिजिटल डिलीवरी ऑफ फिजिकल गुड्स. सो लास्ट माइल को आपने जब तक सॉल्व नहीं करेंगे, एंड दैट कैन ओनली हैपन through partnering with companies like Careem, Bikeya, Cheete, Foodpanda, all of these companies. So last mile solve nahi hoga. So that's the biggest use case that as a payment industry needs to be solved collectively. Right. And this will only be done in collaboration with, these ride hailing and delivery players. दूसरा, merchants. So जो tier C का merchant बैठा हुआ है, उसको आप on board, वो क्यों होगा आपके पास ट्रांजेक्शन? उसको एक तो बैंकिंग की ज्यादा समझ नहीं है. सो उसके लिए यू हैव टू मेक प्रोसेस तो खैर इजी हो गया है, बट यू हैव टू इंसेंटिवाइज देम. सो उनकी जो आपको ट्रांजेक्शन फीस वगैरह कर रहे हैं उसको जीरो करें. मे बी गिव देम सम सॉर्ट ऑफ क्रेडिट लाइंस उनको ऊपर दे दें, क्रेडिट बेस दे दें, ठीक है. सो दैट हैज टू बी डन. लास्ट माइल का मैंने बताया कि अनलेस वी डोंट ब्रिंग इन मोर यूज केसेस, स्पेशली जो ऑफलाइन यूज केसेस हैं, विच इंक्लूड्स लास्ट माइल एज वेल, it is very difficult to scale digital payments. और thirdly, of course, connectivity का तो मैंने mention किया ही है कि as connectivity increases, of course, वो reach पड़ेगी and then automatically there will be some uptake. And lastly, I think government plays a very important role here. So, for example, there should be some sort of tax holidays, especially for merchants जो कि tier C में बैठे हैं. Otherwise, they will never be onboarded on any digital payment platform. Customer side के लिए भी transaction fees वगैरह reduce होनी चाहिए. So just to give you an example, for example, हमारी payments captains के भी is going through Easy Paisa, and whenever we disperse, there's a certain commission that goes to the Easy Paisa. So I mean, government has to support Easy Paisa as well, with, so that they can reduce these kind of charges for other players, so that इसकी acceptability digital payments की बढ़े. And lastly, I think सबसे बड़ी example तो ये है कि government के जितने अपने use cases हैं, bill payments हैं, salaries हैं, there's so many government payment related things, उनको forcefully move करें on digital platform. Only then I think once we have this ecosystem, so हमारे पास सारे जो dots हैं ना, they are there. So हमारा onboarding merchant की बहुत easy है. We have the right players जो कि ये payment system में plan कर सकते हैं. Last mile के हमारे पास बहुत अच्छे players हैं. So all the dots are there. All we need to do is connect all these dots, and only then we'll be able to sort of scale digital payments. This is my view. Otherwise, in short term, in COVID situation, of course, there might be some uptake, which we have also seen in Kareem as well. थोड़ी बहुत वो non-cash trips वगैरह बढ़ने शुरू हो गए. But this is basically ये मजबूरी है. So people will revert back to old behaviors जैसी चीजें normalize होंगी.
Right, right. Great, good points, and it's interesting to know that you think that people will go back to old habits because the last mile and the taxation and merchants especially, there needs to be an incentivization by the government to make sure they stay. Good. Maybe Mutaka, you want to add on to this point?
So from a food delivery perspective and from a mart's perspective, so interestingly, if we open Sindh as well completely, and if you look at the scale from that perspective, so we'll be doing around 100,000 orders on a daily basis across Pakistan. Now, out of all of this, even with all the push that everyone across the board, all the platforms are doing, even the government is doing as well to avoid cash, we have enabled contactless deliveries on our application as well, which is on by default now. So as soon as you place an order, by default it says contactless deliveries, which basically means that you either pay online or you ask the rider to leave your food at the door and just ring the bell and step back. We've seen again a very slight increase in digital payments. Out of the total order volumes, on a good day, we would have 15 to 20% in the larger cities, so like the Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, the metros. But overall, our split, roughly around 85, 90 to 10, 15. That's the split between cash and card. So that's a big challenge that everyone faces. But on the flip side, just like Kareem has done, and just like by Kia, I think Eid Mubarak follows a similar pattern as well. Our riders, they're all paid via wallets. So again, we partnered with Jazz Cash, we partnered with HPL Connect. We're in talks with Easy Paisa as well. That has helped a lot, because in this situation, expecting a rider to go to the bank to deposit or to take out money, that would have been extremely detrimental to everyone's health. So that helped us a lot. On another side, where we as the platform play a huge role, is actually getting people into sort of being counted as a banking customer. Why? Because we're launching into smaller cities. Like, for example, we launched like Sheikhupura, Rahim Yar Khan, Jhelum. So the smaller cities of Pakistan, the percentage of people who actually use a bank account is very, very low. But we don't do any cash transfers, right? So all the restaurant platforms or restaurant partners that we work with, they have to have a bank account somehow or the other. So we're facilitating them to open up a bank account, with one of the larger banks in Pakistan. We work with them as well, so that the onboarding process is minimized, and they can be part of the banked industry as well. So we're hoping from that perspective, once that happens, we obviously transfer our payments over there. Then the hope and the aim is we constantly educate them that, maybe you allow all of your customers that actually come for dine-in to also be able to pay you through, digital channels as well. So yes, it's hard. Yes, it's very difficult to, get them into a more formal industry, but it's working. We're talking about 150 restaurants in Sheikhupura that have come online, that have opened up bank accounts. We're talking about, 50 odd restaurants in Sargodha. We're talking about, 75 restaurants in Jhelum and Rahim Yar Khan, who never believed in a bank. So that's something that I think all of us, wherever we are partnering with a third party, can have a huge impact on, at least getting them to a banked situation. And then, the next step would be to a digital bank, and then the digital wallets, and moving away from just cash in, cash out, and actually using, other facilities that are provided.
Right. Great points, guys. So I have first question, and maybe I'll ask this to Munib first. The question is general. How do panelists see consumer spending power in coming months? To what extent that poses challenge to the digital delivery and logistics, including ride-hailing. At Gallup, we see consumers' confidence to have gone down significantly, and foresee disposable incomes to fall, especially in metropolitan cities. So the question is, how do panelists see this part of the equation? Over to you, Munib.
जी मैं देखें और तो सारा वो छोड़ता हूँ, मैं अपनी बात करता हूँ, ठीक है. सो मैंने बेसिकली आई स्टार्टेड यूजिंग डिजिटल, बट डिजिटल भी कौन सा, क्रेडिट कार्ड. क्यों? ताकि कैश ना खर्च करना पड़े. इसलिए नहीं कि मुझे कैश पसंद नहीं है, इसलिए क्योंकि बेसिकली मुझे वो पैसे ना खर्च करने पड़े जो कि मेरे पास सेव्ड है, ठीक है. सो बेसिकली आई एंड आई थिंक मेनी पीपल will try to utilize whatever access to credit they have, right? So that basically you can save whatever amount of money that you can. And I think if I am thinking this way, I'm sure a lot of people are. People's behavior over the next, I'd say, Eid tak at least, Eid ke baad bhi shayad prevail karega ye, कि जिस तरह फजूल खर्ची हम लोग करते आ रहे हैं, बेसिकली वो फजूल खर्ची कम हो जाएगी, ठीक है. सो जो भी बेसिकली एक्ट हम पहले कर रहे थे, जिसमें बेसिकली बिला नागास ये सोच रहे थे कि जी अगले महीने की मेरी तनख्वाह आ जाएगी, तनख्वाह में से पैसे दे दूंगा, या कर लूंगा, अगले महीने तनख्वाह आ जाएगी. अभी लोगों को दिमाग में ये शक होगा कि भाई विल आई गेट माय सैलरी नेक्स्ट मंथ और नॉट, will my employer cut my salary or not. So I think basically whether you're rich, whether you're middle class, and clearly if you're poor, right, you're absolutely going to be saving. Now that's not a bad thing, and I'll tell you why it's not a bad thing. I think it's a fantastic thing for digital payments, and the reason I say that is कि अगर आप देखो easy पैसा या jazz cash, ठीक है, या omni या HPL connect, ये why are people not using this? Essentially China को अगर आप देखो, लोगों के पास पहले भी बैंक अकाउंट थे, और उस बैंक अकाउंट से वो पैसे डाल देते थे बिलफर्ज अली पे के अंदर. क्यों? क्योंकि अली पे उनको रोजाना कहता था कि जो आपने करंट अकाउंट पे पैसे डाले हुए हैं ना, उस करंट अकाउंट के पैसे को आप बेसिक अली पे में डालोगे तो रोजाना आपको बेसिक नफा होगा. सो दिस इज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर द लाइक्स ऑफ इजी पैसा एंड जैज कैश टू टेल पीपल कि जी आपके जो पैसे करंट अकाउंट में कुछ पैसे बना नहीं रहे, फंसे हुए हैं, उसको बेसिकली आप हमारे अकाउंट में डालो, और जिस तरह आपका अकाउंट बिलफर्ज किसी और बैंक में, स्टैंडर्ड में, किसी और बैंक में, सुनहरी में, जिस मर्जी में, आप वो पैसे जो फंसे हुए हैं आपके पास जब इस वॉलेट में आएंगे, तो इसमें आपको बेसिक एक तो प्रॉफिट होता रहेगा, और दूसरा आप इसको दुकानों पे भी इस्तेमाल कर सकोगे. और अगर आपको कार्ड ही चाहिए, अगर कार्ड का इतना शौक है, तो भाई कार्ड भी हम आपको दे देते हैं. सो आई थिंक इट्स अ ट्रेमेंडस अपॉर्चुनिटी for digital payments, but they have to realize that this is an opportunity. They have to understand what they're solving for, because we keep going back and saying, why isn't digital payments working in Pakistan? The number one reason digital payments aren't working in Pakistan because the state doesn't care about collecting taxes. अगर स्टेट को बेसिकली असल में कोई फिक्र होती टैक्स कलेक्ट करने की, लेकिन शऊर होता, तो वो जो मोबाइल टॉपअप आप मोबाइल में अपने पैसे डालते हैं, जो हर बंदे की जेब में 120-130 मिलियन लोगों की जेब में मोबाइल टॉपअप पड़ा हुआ है, उस पे कहते हैं यार हमने 30% की टैक्स की कटौती नहीं करनी, हमने 2% की कटौती करनी है, ताकि बेसिकली दैट मनी स्टार्ट्स बीइंग ट्रेडेड एज अ पैरेलल करेंसी, राइट? सो द स्टेट doesn't think, or they don't want to think, or can't think, or are inhibited by one regulation or the other. State को side पे काम कर दो, ठीक है? The opportunity then lies in the private sector to try and solve these things. So I think I do not believe that consumers are going to be wanting to spend more money unless it's access to credit. One, okay? I think consumers will be saving money, so disposable income will be salvaged, and not spent. So spending will go down. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. मैं उस दिन basically pharmacy गया और मैं pharmacy निकल रहा तो बाहर एक फकीर था, तो बेचारा बड़ा गरीब सा लग रहा था, तो बुढ़ा सा बाबा था। मैंने मुझे आता है, कहता है कि थोड़े से पैसे दे दें कि मैंने चाय और चीनी लेनी है। And I was a little shocked. I was like, चाय और चीनी लेनी है, right? Like, can I buy you like maybe मैं आपको कोई आटा ले दूं, you know? और उसने कहा नहीं आटा है मेरे पास, मुझे चाय और चीनी चाहिए। एंड आई वाज लाइक, कुछ शर्म करो बाबा जी, शर्म करो। चाय बेसिकली आपकी कौन सी नेसेसिटी है? इंपोर्ट करते हो आप सारा, यू नो। चीनी कौन सी नेसेसिटी है? आपके परदादा बाप दादा बेसिक कौन सी इतनी चीनी और चाय करते थे? वी हैव गॉटन यूज्ड टू these drugs, the drug of sugar, the drug of tea, the drug of consumerism, the drug of showing off, the drug of essentially going out and spending money we don't have. We need to be more like the Chinese. And I hope that after this whole episode of the lockdown, we become cleaner people, save more money, money that we, you know, and save money that we, you know, save the money that we should be, and not go out and spend money like what Arabs. We're not. We don't have oil.
Good point, huh? Munib, I take the point. There are a lot of questions, so I will just move on to a next question. I'll come back to your point as well, on our spending habits. Maybe, you know, this pandemic will actually help us realize that the things we spend on, which is not required, you know, things we buy and we never use, should at least, you know, go down. So one of the question from the attendees is, as maybe, you know, maybe Mohsen and then Sai, you can take this question. Is most of the food delivery people offered extra orders to restaurants and take 20 to 30% commission, and it was okay as restaurants had dine-in business. Now that the dine-in business is not there, would there be some time where you guys doing when you guys keep yourself doing in the restaurant business? Yeah, Mohsen.
Okay, so yes, we do charge a bit of good commissions from the restaurants, but we still make an operating loss on each and every transaction. But post-pandemic, what we are doing is we're trying to relax a certain commission where the restaurants are requesting, and then we are also providing them the logistic support where the restaurants don't have, especially the restaurants with fine dine. They never had a delivery service, so we're trying to support them by providing our riders. And I see a relevant question as well on the discount driven market. So I think the overall consumer behavior will change, and the people will be more focused on safety and service standards. So if that happens, we'll be happy to reduce our take rates from the restaurants, because if we're doing a discount war and then we're charging zero commissions from the restaurants, then we have to lose a lot of money.
Same question for Saira.
So it's a great question. I think if I can take a few minutes to explain how food delivery globally is working. The challenge with food delivery is it's one of the older industries and internet businesses जो एक पूरा domain है. 14-15 साल पहले जो है वो पहली food delivery company जो है वो आना शुरू हो गई थी US में, और पाकिस्तान में भी अगर हम देखते हैं तो ईट और फूड पैंडा जो है ये तकरीबन 7-8 साल पहले एटलीस्ट आ गई थी. जो बड़ा चैलेंज है फूड डिलीवरी का, और इस वक्त वो बहुत ज़्यादा अभी है, तो प्री कोविड जो क्वेश्चन हो रहा था वो प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी ऑफ फूड डिलीवरी पे हो रहा है ग्लोबली, अदर देन मीटॉन जो कि चाइनीज फूड डिलीवरी एक ह्यूज कंपनी है बहुत बड़ी, और दूसरा ग्रब हब जो यूएस की है. एक आज शायद कोई और कंपनियां हो, 2 कंपनीज कोई और हो ग्लोबली जो कि प्रॉफिटेबल हैं. सो मीटॉन, ग्रब हब और 1-2 शायद एक्सेप्शंस और होंगी जो कि लार्ज स्केल पे ऑपरेट कर रही हैं और प्रॉफिटेबल है. अदर देन दैट जितनी कंपनीज भी हैं वो मैसिवली लॉस मेकिंग है. उबर ईट्स है, डोरडैश है, आपकी मिडल ईस्ट की डिलीवरी है, फूड पैंडा है, सो वहाँ पे डिलीवरू है, तो जितनी भी कंपनीज हैं, यहाँ पे चैलेंज ये है कि इस पॉइंट पे जबकि एक्सटेंशन ऑफ रनवे इज अ रिक्वायरमेंट फ्रॉम द इन्वेस्टर्स, जो बिहेवियर फूड डिलीवरी प्लेटफॉर्म्स का नजर आ रहा है अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड, आप अगर न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स पढ़ें, आप इस वक्त मिडल ईस्ट के ब्लॉग्स पढ़ें, तो वहाँ पे देयर इज अ very strained relationship between restaurants and the platforms. क्योंकि platforms ने obviously survival करना है अपना before helping anyone else. Restaurants की help करने से पहले, but क्योंकि मॉडल उनको ये इजाजत नहीं देता है, the only way they can survive is कि वो अपनी commissions, अपनी fees इस वक्त मजीद बढ़ा रहे हैं. So Zomato ने similar step किया. I don't know शायद locally भी Muntaka will be able to verify that or comment on that. If he's fixed fee ही लगा दी restaurants पे, in addition to the commissions, food panda and restaurants पे. So I think this is really important कि जो pandemic की situation है is going to define what our DNA is, what every company's DNA is. When we call restaurants our restaurants partner, are we really partnering with them in the times of need? मोहसिन ने जिस तरह कहा कि जो बड़े डाइनिंग रेस्टोरेंट्स हैं वो तो बंद हुए हैं, टस्क नहीं है, पीएफ चैंग है, वो तो 20 लाख 25 लाख 15 लाख रुपए तो रेंट्स हैं उनके, वो डिलीवरी पे तो कभी सर्वाइव ही नहीं कर सकते. No way they can do it, right? So I know we ran a campaign for restaurants employees who have been laid off, and I cannot name those restaurants, but the amount of lists of employees we have received from high-end restaurants was amazing. With how many we were shocked. And they are all those restaurants जहाँ पे 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 का per head food cost होती है. And it's understandable as a small medium enterprise owner, वहाँ पे उनके perspective हमें समझ आ रहा है. So इस point पे restaurants के they need help. उनको बहुत ज़्यादा support की ज़रूरत है. I think temporary अगर हम कुछ कर सकते हैं उनके लिए, we should do it. So the way Ecobar tackled this was we gave permission. And जो हमारी सब्सक्रिप्शन फी होती है, हमने उनको 1 महीने का जब सेंट में बंद थे तो we again it's a luxury. Not many platforms have that. If you have that, then I think that's a great contribution you can make to this industry. But I think the least we can all do at this time is to increase our pricing. जो इस वक्त कोई spike आ रहा है, डाइनिंग बंद हो गया है, उनकी supply line पे delivery है. So you start sort of उसका नाजायज फायदा उठाना is the least that we should be doing. Is something we should not be doing at all.
Right. So good points. So I have Ammar Shahzad who wants to raise a point regarding EasyPaisa QR usage both for ride hailing and
Basit,
delivery service.
Before we move
yeah. Go ahead.
I'd like to take the previous question as well.
Sure.
So from a Food Panda perspective and a Delivery Hero perspective, which is our parent company that operates in approximately 45 countries across the globe. So if you see, and Cyrus completely correct, that there are very few companies from a delivery perspective that make a operational profit. So everyone is on a path to profitability, especially after I think what happened with WeWork and the Uber IPO. So that's the focus for everyone, and that's again the focus for us as Food Panda and overall as Delivery Hero as well. So Delivery Hero, in fact, is profitable in a lot of regions as well, but there are different dynamics because of that. Like for example, in Pakistan, one of the bigger reasons that we are not on an operational profit is because we don't charge any delivery fees on the restaurants. We've started charging delivery fees on the marts because the marts model is very, very different. They cannot charge. I mean, the retailers don't have huge margins to play around with because of the distribution model that they have from the FMCG's perspective. Now, if you talk about specific issues regarding lowering the commissions with the restaurants, so see, there are two things around it. One, yes, restaurants need help, but at the same time, we need help as well. So we have scale, we have access to individuals, to consumers that have the buying power, as well as the individuals who may not have the buying power, but we are able to provide them the right basket size, the right price point, where they are able to order food at home without it costing them more than what it would cost if they purchase groceries and make the food at home. So that's the essential thing that we need to look at from that perspective as well. One of the comments I think was that food is considered a luxury item. It's not a luxury item. Home delivery is not a luxury item. It's a necessity. Now there are two things. Me sitting at home and ordering sushi, yes, that is a luxury spend. Maybe I shouldn't do that in today's situation if I don't have the money. But me sitting at home and ordering a chicken tikka or a paratha roll, which happen to be our top three most selling items across the country, regardless of the city, that's a necessity. And the price points, we need to ensure that the price points for that come around the 100 rupee, 110, 115 rupee mark, which is affordable for individuals who are staying at home and have a family of at least 4 people, have a house that has electricity, gas, water running as well. They can afford 100 rupees per individual to eat. On the flip side, how do we do that? So that's where our help extends. We unfortunately are not able to reduce commissions. Why? Because our operational cost is what it is, right? So we are doing cost efficiencies on our side to reduce that cost, so that the loss that we make on every delivery, that is reduced as much as possible. On the flip side, what we can do for the restaurants is chip in from our marketing budgets. So chip in. So we give subsidies to restaurants where we chip in X amount on particular deals. So what we're trying to do with the restaurants is two things. One, push more, get more visibility for these restaurants. That's one. Second, we're pushing more marketing dollars to them in terms of the chip-ins, so that they don't have to reduce their prices further, which is something that we're working with at least the long tail restaurants, that you don't give any price reductions. We will give the deals and discounts. We will just push orders to you so that at least your fixed cost is spread over 1,000 orders rather than 500 orders, so that on a per order basis you don't end up losing that much money. The third thing that we've done is, so all the new vendors that we're onboarding right now, we've given them certain waivers on certain costs that we charge initially for onboarding fees, for subscriptions. So we've given them some waivers over there, because they have been reaching out to us because they're desperate right now for orders, and we don't want to look like we don't want to charge them double or the same. So we're reducing our prices wherever we can to facilitate them, where it doesn't hurt us either, and it also gives them some sort of scale. The third most important thing, the most interesting thing, I mean, is our long tail. So the bottom 50% of the restaurants, they've been reaching out to us saying we need PPEs. We have major issues. We cannot afford it. So that's something that we're working with all of our restaurant partners as well, to provide them access to PPEs, because us purchasing as Food Panda for 1,000 restaurants is much easier than one restaurant going out and purchasing it for themselves. So some of the things that we're trying to do to help the vendors as much as possible.
All right. I think I will like Zishan and Munib to join in this conversation. But Amar, just a question from my side. It can be for ride-hailing services as well. You don't need to be for riders for food delivery only. At the point to use till payments or QR, it can be for both ride-hailing and the delivery. One more point. We see that. I will come to, the problem is we need to pay when we have the service delivered, whether it's ride hailing, whether it is, food deliveries, because we want to see what is being delivered. We want to make sure that the service part is done. And this is, for me, primarily one of the key reasons we are still, we want to do cash on delivery, or we want to do cash on service. So I want to also add a question to this point, and maybe ask Zishan and Munib to answer, or to answer on the points of Amar. Do you see the usage of cards as contactless, as in tap on phone, or as in on the MPOS, or a POS terminal being taken out by riders, or by Kareem captains, or Bikia riders to be able to do that? So maybe I start from Zishan.
Yes. So I think thank you very much, Amar. Good point. So I think when it comes to QR, the thing you mentioned, basically, I think the first thing all of us need to solve is the user journey. Now, imagine if our users are paying through QR codes, what will be the journey? So first of all, they will have to cash into their wallets, either through cards or physical payments, and then the entire thing will work, right? Now, fortunately for companies like Kareem, Baikia, I'm sure others as well, they've introduced their own wallets as well. So if we compare wallet experience of our wallet with, let's say, Easy Pesa, so I personally feel that for Kareem, if customers use the Kareem wallet, experience would be much more seamless, because anyways, for cash in, they can always use the captains or cards for cash in, and then the experience is pretty seamless. So I think QR, of course, there's a capability there from Telnor as well, but I personally see that at least for Kareem, uh, in midterm and long term, we would want to go ahead with our own wallet, because it solves for the user experience. So I think that was primarily the answer to your question. When it comes to, I think, merchant onboarding, by the way, you mentioned about the process was already very simple with, let's say, X0 account, right? It's just an SMS. I think you send out an SMS and then you're onboarded, your account opens, right? It's not mainly the process. The way to sort of solve it and think about it is that how can we actually incentivize Type C merchant, promote digital payments. Right now, of course, from users there might be not any commissions, but from the merchants there are some fees and commissions. So I think that is something that holistically we need to solve for.
Yeah, so I think all valid points, and obviously Zishan knows a lot about payments and understands all these problems. When so I think all his points are completely valid. From a Baikia perspective, to be honest, listen, I mean, I think yesterday, and Ahmad, you may know this. Yesterday, the Easy Pesa app allows Easy Pesa customers to cash in via Baikia. So I think this launched yesterday. So I think our aim right now is to to facilitate existing wallets in the cash-in service. Let's see how that pans out. I think in terms of the QR, how to make QR work. To be candid, we don't have the privilege of capital uh, like many banks do, like many big fintechs do, like many big ride-hailing businesses do. So I think we're thinking about QRs, but we've got to think about QRs in a mechanism that doesn't burn money for us, right? And so we are looking to figure out how to enable, not just for Baikia, how do we enable, banks or financial institutions or fintechs out there to be able to get a broader reach or broader integration for payments between cash and QR. So we're thinking about it. I think the first step we've taken, with Easy Pesa. I think over the next, for now, to be honest with you, I think the next 45 days, we're going to completely focus on trying to solve for logistics. But I think after that, maybe in a quarter or so, we will start working with people who know payments better than us to figure out how to solve for payments at the last mile. And payments at the last mile is, I think it's a very, very small market of e-commerce. So I don't think we need to focus on solving for e-commerce. And I'm sorry I'm saying it because I come from e-commerce, but it's too small a market. Many of the fintechs and the large businesses are trying to focus on kiryane ki dukane or convenience stores. And of course, there's a possibility of solving there, but I think the bigger problem there is कि जो लोग दुकान में आ रहे हैं, जो कि दुकानदार को पैसे दे रहे हैं, वो तो कैश दे रहे हैं, तो उस कैश का दिन के एंड में क्या करेगा बंदा, सो बेशक आगे वो अपनी B2B पेमेंट्स डिजिटली कर दे. सो आई थिंक ये कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, उनको पहले समझना है कि सॉल्व कैसे करना है, और फिर हम QR में आएंगे.
Okay, good point, Munib. Before, and Mohsin wanted to add on this point, but Munib, I have, sorry, Mohsin, I have some questions that are lined up. One is maybe, just in general, why not, we are trying to have QRs per service, rather than not use an interoperable QR, to be able to be more flexible in terms of where a person wants to keep his cash versus to able to be, to able to transact, whether it's a Kareem wallet user transacting on Paikia, vice versa. And Mohsin, before you answer, I have two questions also lined up. Are there any companies that are doing anything on healthcare authorities to reopen the country? It's one of the questions from the participants. What measure are you taking as company for community during coronavirus? And what can you tell about employee generated rider funds?
Okay, Basa, thank you very much. So as far as QR is concerned, I think our experience with QR was pretty good. We partnered up with Bank Alfala for digital QR instead of having a physical QR with the riders, and we have been accepting about more than 15 banks. Maybe I think Amar, you should know, we're accepting Easy Pesa as well. So one thing which is required here for all the fintechs and the banks is to promote their QR. As Muni mentioned that, okay, there are a lot of merchants as well who have the QR, but they don't know what to do once they receive the payments from the customers. So as far as the transaction fee is concerned, between the two between Easy Pesa and Bank Alfala, or Easy Pesa to Jazz Cash, needs to be reduced. And I think there is a need that fintech companies needs to collaborate between each other to reduce their fees. So for example, if I transfer from Easy Pesa to Easy Pesa, it would be free. But if I transfer it to from Easy Pesa to Bank Alfala, that will be 50 plus FED. And so there was a recent uh, uh, instructions from the state bank that it would be waived off, but that would be only for a couple of weeks or months maybe. This needs to go for the future as well. So as far as QR is concerned, I think that's a very good innovation, and all of us needs to adopt, whether we have our own wallet. And as I mentioned before, that this is the time of collaboration. Regarding your second question, as far as the healthcare is concerned, so what we did, we used our tech team to establish an app. The app is called CoCare, and as of now, what we're doing is we are collaborating with different healthcare institutes. We are in talks with Shokat Hanam. We're in talks with Aga Khan, and we are also sending this. The proposals for to the different institutes like the banks will be. I'll be happy to share it with all the panelists as well, to come and support the community for the prevention of coronavirus. So what our app does is, that's an initiative by Cheetah's tech team and Cornet Labs. What it will do is, if you are within the vicinity of an infected patient, it will give you a buzzer that you should stay at home. And I think all the companies, the proposal we are sending to all the companies is to adapt this app, and this is a public-private partnership. We have developed that, but we will not use this as a revenue-based model. And this is something we have done to serve the community.
Right. So same question for Muntaka, but just before you answer this, there's another similar question that every company has taken initiative to prevent corona spread in their own capacity. What is one good initiative that is specifically taken during the COVID-19 by delivery providing services, and they want to resume even post-COVID, for instance, contactless delivery, collaboration with different welfare societies or NGO, medical insurance of riders, etc. So over to you.
Thank you. So I'll take the second question first, which is, what do we want to continue post COVID as well. So there are exactly the three things that you've mentioned: rider insurance, that was happening before COVID as well, and that's something that will continue to happen. We've enhanced the coverage a little bit, and we're trying to figure out ways to enhance the coverage further for our riders, especially keeping in mind that no one expected a pandemic like this to happen. So the coverages need to be pretty standardized across the board and enhanced as much as possible. So that's one. Second is we opened up our app for donations as well. So what we've done is we've partnered with a lot of NGOs like Sailani, JDC, Shaukat Khanam, United Nations Association of Pakistan, Khidmat Foundation. Maybe I'm forgetting a couple as well. And we're adding more on a daily basis. So what we're doing is we've created a virtual store on our app where people can donate meals through us, and it's our responsibility then to get that money and deliver meals to frontline medical workers, as well as so basically the paramedic staff, as well as the law enforcement agencies that are out there on the road protecting us and ensuring the government notifications are met. One of the most interesting things over here is that we actually partnered with a lot of our restaurants. Obviously, we don't expect the smaller one outlet restaurants to be able to afford it, but the larger ones, so like the Hardee's and the Domino's of the world, so I'm naming them only right now because we've already they have already donated meals through us. So they gave us meals that for free that we went out and delivered to the hospital staff. We're also working with a few other vendors where we're making specific meals at a low cost and delivering them to the hospital staff as well. We're also delivering, we've also started some delivery of disinfectant gates at hospitals. So we put one up already at the Lahore Expo Center. So that's something that we are doing from a Food Panda safety and hygiene perspective. So those walkthrough gates will be installed at some other hospitals as well. The biggest safety initiative that we've done for our riders is obviously giving them all the PPE equipment and ensuring, so we have this compliance on our side called a rider police. I'm also part of that rider police, which basically means you go out on the road as employees. Wherever you see a rider that is either violating section 144, which is more than 3 people cannot be congregated at one part, we go and talk to them, we tell them, we educate them, even though they've been educated already by videos and push notifications. And at the start of their shift they get a sort of like a rundown on the rules and regulations that need to be followed. But end of the day, I mean, you're standing up in the heat for like 12 hours a day, so things can get a little muddy. So that's one thing that we do. The second thing that we do is, apart from providing them the PPE equipment, we're also so engaged our restaurants where they are also becoming sort of our whistleblowers as well. So they're telling us, a particular rider is, not following the processes and procedures. So we're very, very strict on the compliance side to ensure the safety and hygiene. And the aim is not to offboard the riders. The aim is to educate the riders, because these riders are actually multi-platform riders as well. Tomorrow they might be, 3 hours later, they might open up the shift with Baikia or with Kareem. So it helps the whole ecosystem from an overall perspective. And the last thing I want to point out is, so hospitals right now, we had issues with riders entering the hospitals, delivering food outside the ICU and CCU as well, which is something that obviously we want to discourage. So we've put up kiosks at hospitals now, starting with Lahore, and we've ensured contactless delivery. So what happens is a rider enters the hospital at the main gates, and ideally right outside the reception or at the reception, there's a kiosk for Food Panda. You put your food there, you call your customer, they just pick up the food from there. And if there has to be an exchange of cash, the rider carries an envelope so that put the cash in there, and you just hand off the envelope to the individual. So interesting times, call for interesting solutions. So we're just learning daily on a daily basis and trying to figure out ways to ensure safety and hygiene.
All right, thank you, Muntaka. There is one pressing question that has been asked a lot, and I would like to have A couple of questions before we start closing the session. I would like to keep it on time. There are a lot of questions. I'm sorry, guys. You know, if you're not able to answer all your questions, but it's one question from Munib that has been asked twice or thrice by a few participants. Is can Munib, can you please ask Munib to talk about parallel currency he mentioned through airtime? And I think people want to know about it more, Munib. So
Okay, so I'll talk about parallel currency in a sec, लेकिन पहले I just want to just follow up on what Mantaka said. तो एक जो हमारी तरफ से बेसिकली जो एक हमने एक्चुअली चीज खुद नहीं सोची, हमने चाइना में देखी थी. जिस तरह फूड पैंडा है ना, उसी तरह बेसिकली चाइना में अलीबाबा की कंपनी कॉल्ड ओलमा ELE.me, उनकी बेसिकली पोस्ट आई थी जिसपे उनके राइडर्स जो थे उनका टेम्परेचर आ रहा था. तो हमने ये बेसिकली चीज देखी, वी थॉट इट वाज वेरी वेरी कूल. एंड नेक्स्ट वीक ऑल बाइकिया राइडर्स, ठीक है, all Bikea partners will essentially have a temperature gauge on the map to assure any customer कि जी मेरी तरफ जो बंदा आ रहा है, मुझे मेरा या तो मुझे कुछ पिकअप करने के लिए आ रहा है, अभी खैर पिकअप तो अभी बेसिक बाइक टैक्सी सस्पेंडेड है, बट डिलीवर करने के लिए आ रहा है तो उसका टेम्परेचर क्या है, राइट? So I think that will build a lot of trust and visibility, and we don't need to think of a lot of this stuff on our own. There are too many people out there in the world who are actually solving this in very, very developed economies, and we just need to learn on how to basically implement that stuff. So that on that. On parallel currencies, मैं आपको बताता हूँ जी कि अक्सर लोग कहते हैं कि कीनिया हो गया या युगांडा हो गया या घाना हो गया. Why did basically mobile payments or mobile money work a lot better there, a lot faster there? And जो fundamental principle था ना, वो ये था कि basically ये wallet वाली कहानी तो बाद में आई है, right? Wallet वाली कहानी तो तब आई है जब basically आप कैरियर के टॉप अप को इस्तेमाल नहीं कर पाए थे क्योंकि रेगुलेशन अलाउ नहीं करती थी, ठीक है, या उसकी कॉस्ट इतनी प्रोहिबिटिव थी, तो इसलिए बेसिकली वॉलेट की कहानी शुरू हो गई थी, ठीक है. लेकिन फंडामेंटली बेसिकली हुआ ये था कि इन अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज में कि शुरू में इनके रेगुलेटर्स इतना टाइट कंट्रोल नहीं रख रहे. तो हो ये रहा था कि इनके रेगुलेटर्स ने कहा कि जी ठीक है, मोबाइल का जो टॉप अप है, जो आपके 100, 150, 400 रुपए पड़े हुए हैं, जो कि मोबाइल के अंदर अगेंस्ट योर प्रीपेड क्रेडिट ऑफ सॉर्ट्स, यू कैन यूज दैट मनी, ठीक है, for any payment. So they allowed the parallel currency in that digital form in those basic mobiles, even the feature phones, right? They're not basic smartphones, in those feature phones to be used. The reason why people start using them is कि basically वहाँ कटौती नहीं थी. पाकिस्तान में आप 100 रुपए डालेंगे तो 30 रुपए तो कटौती हो जाएगी, तो मैं अपने 100 रुपए को क्यों सडनली 70 रुपए करूं? Why would I do that? I would never do that, right? So अगर मैंने बेसिकली किसी खोखे पे जाके कोई सिपारी लेनी है, 10 रुपए की सिपारी लेनी है, 20 रुपए की सिपारी लेनी है, तो मैं बेसिकली वो 100 रुपए को 70 रुपए तो नहीं करूंगा ना. लेकिन जो इनिशियली अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज में हुआ ये था कि उन्होंने 100 रुपए के ऊपर बेसिकली 30 रुपए कटौती नहीं की थी, उन्होंने 2 रुपए कटौती की. तो हुआ ये कि बेसिक जब मेरे पास 98 रुपीज रह गए तो मैंने वो 10 रुपए की कटौती को सोचा नहीं. And when I transferred like my 10 rupees and then the Khokhewala transferred his 10 rupees, when that money traded, assume it traded like 50 times, 50 times 2% or 2 rupees is like 100 rupees. So the state ended up making bootloads of money. This is fundamentally something that the leadership in Pakistan is not getting. उनको आप बताओ भी, वो कहते हैं हाँ आइडिया तो बड़ा जबरदस्त है लेकिन बड़ा मुश्किल है पाकिस्तान में इंप्लीमेंट करना. क्यों? What's the problem? The problem is कि इनको बेसिकली शुरू में जाके पहले क्वार्टर, दूसरे क्वार्टर में बेसिकली वो रेवेन्यू नहीं नजर आएगा टेलीकॉम से जो आज ले रहे हैं. आज ये टेलीकॉम से बेसिकली 30% का जो रेवेन्यू ले रहे हैं, इतना ज्यादा रेवेन्यू के इनको डर है कि जी वो बिहेवियर चेंज नहीं होगा. लेकिन अल्टीमेटली इफ यू आर एबल टू सस्टेन एंड इफ यू आर एबल टू, जो आप वैसे जी एयरपोर्ट्स के लिए कर्जे उठा रहे हो या आप लोगों को फ्री में पैसे बांटने के लिए, BISP क्या है? लोगों को फ्री में पैसे बांटना है. फ्री में पैसे बांटने के लिए बेसिकली आप कर्ज उठा रहे हो, या आप बेसिकली मोटरवेज बनाने के लिए कर्ज उठा रहे हो या बसें खरीदने के लिए कर्ज उठा रहे हो. खुदारा बेसिकली पैसे उठा लो कर्ज उठाने के लिए, ताकि अगले 2 क्वार्टर्स आप इसको बेसिकली जो टैक्स का डेफिसिट है उसको पूरा कर दो, ताकि 2 क्वार्टर्स में लोगों का बिहेवियर चेंज हो. So I'm very passionate about this. I just find it quite stupid why we haven't been able to do this. And of course, it's not in my interest to say this because we want a wallet ultimately, from a Bikea's own closed loop perspective. Kareem wants their wallet, which is from an open loop perspective. And Easy Pesa wants their wallet. Everybody wants their wallet to work, but fundamentally the state ends up losing and people end up losing.
I agree. It's actually the people that I'm losing. So maybe the last question for today is more with Zishan. So Zishan, I got an email here in Dubai yesterday that you guys have started Kareem shops. So I just wanted to understand if you can elaborate a bit on that one, or because I saw that here in UAE, Talabat and all these guys have started to you just order online. You want to have milk, eggs, and in 15-20 minutes they are at your doorstep, and they wanted to do it. One more question, maybe, if you want to, and this is what I think, because I use ride hailing a lot, and for me, let me put the point. Let's say we open up a bit, and we would see the Ubers and the Kareems and the Bikeas, providing the services again, maybe with a bit of SOPs. So have you guys thought out that if you want to, for example, start back with Kareem rides, you want to have some kind of safety structure both for the captains and for the passengers, maybe having that kind of shield between them. Have you thought about that? And maybe just add a point, and if you have done something on the community side with the COVID-19 situation.
Absolutely. So I think coming to the first question, so basically the stores in Kareem. Now Kareem has three verticals right now. So one is of course Kareem ride hailing. Then there's Kareem Now, which is basically deliveries of things from point A to point B. It includes two things. One is food, which is the cataloged environment food ordering, and then there's order anything. So you can go to the app, you can deliver or order anything. So currently, right now, it's a separate app. The name of the app is called Kareem Now. It's already operational in Karachi. And what we've done is it's basically being used for food ordering, catalog food ordering. We have introduced a store there in that application. Now, going forward, our plan is once we introduce the super app in Pakistan, and inshallah, we'll be doing that very soon. All these verticals will come into one single app, and the experience will be seamless. So customers will only have to use one application to do all of this. In Karachi, as I mentioned, within Kareem Now, the store, we've already made a merchant with certain essentials. That's already live. In Lahore, currently, the experience is not optimal, but what we are doing is we're offering non-catalog groceries and food deliveries. So what users can do is they can go to their own Kareem app. There will be a cart type by the name of groceries or deliveries, and we offer groceries and deliveries. It could be through bikes and cars as well, because remember one thing, not all deliveries can be fulfilled by bikes. So if the order size is generally more than 5,000 rupees, there's a requirement for a bigger vehicle to carry those goods. So we offer that in Lahore as well. The second question was primarily around, I believe, what are the things that we'll do post COVID. So I think two things. So basically, of course, this situation, this pandemic has taught each one of us a lot. Going forward, consumer behaviors will of course change. People will be very conscious about when it comes to safety and hygiene, which also means that regardless of the services, regardless of the company, they will have to start pivoting toward offering services which are safe, hygienic, and secure. So, with Kareem, maybe we have a proper SOPs. Abibi, right now as well, wherever we are offering our services, we have clearly established some protocols that needs to be adhered, which includes, for example, captains, if they're sick or fever, they cannot drive. Uh, Personal car की hygiene, so disinfection, उसको clean करना after every ride, wearing gloves, using hand sanitizers. Users are not supposed to sit with the driver. We're constantly communicating कि यार आप पीछे बैठेंगे, so that there's a safe distance. So these are all the measures that we're currently taking, but of course it's a learning process. We will continue to find out more gaps. We will continue to evolve. Just now आपने mentioned किया maybe sheets. I don't know at this scale. Maybe right now it's maybe not very possible, but this is definitely one thing. Maybe जब हम cars induct करें future में, we might introduce that as well. So this is a this is a process which will continue to constantly evolve. And lastly, to your question on initiatives for community, I think एक चीज जो मैंने देखी है ना पाकिस्तान में, although we all used to compete, but the way we've all working towards serving the community is really appreciable. Whether it's Food Panda, Daraz, Paikia, Cheetah, every single player is contributing in their own capacity. Now, I do also understand that whatever we do is situation is less. But पहली चीज तो ये कि सारे players, I mean, hats off to all of you as well on people on call. You're all doing great job, and we need to do more of this. Now, when it comes to Kareem, हमने दो तीन चीजें की हैं. So first of all, I think for us, the most important stakeholder is our captains, because these are the people who've actually lost their incomes because of lockdown. They're not able to, they were daily wagers, they were dependent on Kareem, so they have been impacted a lot. So we've been trying to figure out कि यार सबसे पहले इन captains के लिए क्या किया जा सकता है, because these are also part of community. So इस पे primarily, of course, health insurance is given. हमने health insurance, उनके लिए sick leave की है, introduce these things are normal. Most important thing what we've done is we've partnered with a lot of NGOs and even government to allow these captains to offer logistic services. So for example, Karachi में KRT के साथ, Punjab में RISC के साथ we've partnered, where basically the experience is that these companies, whenever they want to do distribute ration, they would use Kareem captains. So this is a win-win situation for community, because उनके लिए हम service कर रहे हैं, but providing ration to needy people, and then win-win for our captains because they're getting work, and that's the foremost important thing. Secondly, इस पे हमने एक also I think इसके ऊपर we'll start marketing as well. We've launched a donation feature where any customer using Kareem application will be able to donate for a noble cause, and these causes are, for example, distribution of ration bags to needy people, COVID testing kits to Shaukat Khanam. We've already partnered with 3-4 national level NGOs. So that's the second thing we've done. And lastly, I think this is something we don't want to market a lot, and this is mainly for our captains as well. We have internally established a captain fund from our salaries. It's a pretty sizable captain fund, and wherever our captains need, we want to support them. And then, of course, like to be honest, अगर करीम के लिए देखें ना, so monthly basis पे almost जो कैप्टन रेवेन्यू लॉस हुआ होगा, कैप्टन साइड की जो इनकम लॉस हुआ होगा, is around $9 million per month approximately. This is something we cannot bridge individually. So उस पे whatever we are trying, whatever we can do, we are doing that. सबसे पहला काम तो ये कर रहे हैं कि कैप्टन्स को काम दिलवाएं. So that's why we are appealing to the government as well कि ये लॉकडाउन जो है, I mean, if the situation persists, there were people who were dependent on Kareem. So maybe location-wise lockdowns कर दें, and there are certain locations जहाँ पे करीम को allow करें, वो उसके ऊपर हम काफी काम कर रहे हैं. And then lastly, government के साथ. So government के साथ we've partnered in Punjab, even in KP. So Punjab में we've partnered with them on creating awareness of delivery services. So that's a very big campaign that is already now live in Punjab, and we've seen a great uptake on that. Secondly, in KP, for example, we have partnered with the KP government to provide subsidized rides to the medical healthcare workers. So doctors or medical staff will be able to go to hospitals using Kareem on a discounted rate, and this is a this is a campaign which was in collaboration with the government of KP. So I think these are few initiatives. To be honest, a lot of companies, all of us are doing whatever is in our capacity. But the truth is, the dent from this situation is so big that whatever we do is actually less. So this is also one thing that we'll continue to learn. Wherever we see a good initiative, we try to do that as well. There's some ideas locally that inspire us. We of course we do that as well. And then there's some ideas internationally or also conceived by Kareem that we want to sort of implement as well. So this is
All
pretty
right.
much it. Thank
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Zishan. So thank you, everyone. The ending comments will be by Khizr, but I would like to thank all of you, and I'm pretty sure in all of your capacities, you're doing really good work, especially in this situation. Munib, Muntaka, Mohsin, Sair, Zishan, all of you, thank you very much. And I'll apologize to all the attendees who have asked a lot of questions. if you have registered, we will try to answer you. We will raise the questions to the right panelist, go over, and we'll get back to you over email that you have registered with. I will now like to hand over the mic to Khizr for ending on.
Hi everyone, hope everybody can hear me. So that marks the end of our conference. I'm Khizr Chutani, and on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. The speakers did a fantastic job by walking us through the industry dynamics and challenges that we're facing. And the dynamics and challenges during this COVID-19 pandemic, the measures being taken to overcome those challenges, and the support required from digital banks, fintechs, and the government for them to thrive and also contribute to the local economy. So we hope each and every one of you enjoyed and benefited from this session. Please follow the Digital Payments Forum page on Facebook, LinkedIn, on Twitter to connect with other industry professionals or to stay up to date regarding industry trends and future events. Now, we value your feedback. So if you have any feedbacks regarding this session or would like to share any interesting ideas for future conferences, please reach out to us by messaging us on our social media channels. Since the session is recorded, please feel free to listen to it again if you like, or share it with your friends who are not able to join today. It will be shared on our Facebook and LinkedIn page in a few hours. Finally, I would like to thank the hosts, Basit and Umair, and the team whose efforts made this event possible. With that, I would like to end this session and hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe, everybody.